think, as I've been seeing over the weeks that have been going by, that everyone's, that fortitude, that press through, that next we're ready to step into next. We're ready to move to the next episode of making something great happen out of something really bad. And so I'm really happy that you're here. I'm very happy that we're in a position to really provide information on a variety of areas that I think are being helpful to your understanding what next looks like and how best to proceed. I wanted to just pick up on what Freddy was sharing with you in terms of, I think we maybe laid out some invitations. If not, we'll have them for you. But this Saturday, I'm hosting my 26th annual Block Party and Resource Resiliency Fair. It started while I was on the City Council, creating an opportunity for the people in my district who lived in the downtown area to have information, because not everyone would come to the neighborhoods north of the freeway, and then the freeways north, the neighborhoods north of the freeway weren't going to downtown communities. And so this was a way to bring an entire community together and do something fun and engaging. And so for 26 years, during my time on the council and also my time in the legislature, it's been an opportunity to share information, and that's what this is going to be. The focus of it is essentially to help the small businesses that have been impacted by the fires in Altadena, Pasadena, and Sierra Madre, and to give those merchants, those small business owners, an opportunity to come to a community that's hopefully we can provide a loving, supporting environment, but also one where we can shop and be supportive of their businesses. So we'll have the Altadena Farmers Market that will be available, and we'll have everything that you'll see at a farmer's market. So we encourage you to maybe do your shopping in the afternoon, later in the day. The event starts from 3 and ends at 7, and it'll give all of us an opportunity to support one another and those small businesses. El Patron is our food vendor who's going to be there, and a lot of other smaller business, Webster's Pharmacy and others. So we think it'll be very informational. And they'll also have activities for the kids, band, live music. The Pasadena Humane will be there. Pet adoption opportunities will be made available. We'll have a wellness center and section where people can do a little yoga, as well as getting some insight in terms of relaxation, breathing, and wellness insights and tips. So it's going to be a full day, a lot of fun activities, but also educational and informative, and we hope that you'll join and be a part of that. But again, thank you for coming out tonight. I want to certainly thank all of those who've been behind the scenes making this happen. And Freddy, thank you for your leadership in this space. And thank you again for being here. Well, either on Oakland, El Molino, there are some at Belvedere. There's some side streets that are Palm Terrace, which is really close, easy walk. The street that's right behind me, north of Jackson, Eldora Road. So there's some other neighborhood streets, and because all the neighbors are going to walk, so it'll be easier. So there'll be parking on those streets as well. Okay. Yes. Yes. Yeah, my understanding is that they've set a date for, I believe I don't remember the date. It's in January of 2027. 27, yes. Yeah. So, but look, there's still a lot of information and a lot of time for things to kind of happen with the case outside of the court, but they're still going very often. I'm not sure how often the judge is calling these hearings. They did from last week to this week because I think the judge was prepared to move forward with at least setting the date. I think we were hoping that it would have been the end of next year, but I think from where we thought it would be to where it sounds like it's landed, there's a 6-month difference. So I think we're just going to see how things continue to play out. We believe we have a strong case. Edison does not want this to go to trial. And what I would also say in that lane is that with this compensation program that they're trying to roll out, which they talked about it in concept, but they didn't say what the specifics are, I think there's obviously a need to understand better what that represents. I think that clearly this is not the first time that these type of programs have rolled out by the utilities. PG&E has done it, San Diego Gas and Electric has done it, and Edison has done it before. And essentially what they're doing, in our view, is that they're looking at this particular point in time when people are getting to a place, some, of desperation. And when you get to that place of desperation, you know, you're in a vulnerable spot. Maybe that's forbearance that's coming due and you've got 6 months of mortgages that you've got to pay. Certainly our call is hang in there. But there are some who, you know, we just have to respect that they may be in a place where they have to move and do something that doesn't benefit them as much as if they were to hang in and let this thing go a little bit further, because Edison is going to settle. They're trying to step in now to try to drive down their exposure with people who, quite frankly, are going to be very vulnerable. And they're going to just negotiate with them and ultimately get pennies on the dollars. So it's unfortunate, but we're trying to get the message out to as many people as we can that, you know, this is not. And what's so diabolical about the whole thing is that the utility company burns down a community and then runs a clock out on folks. They can't even admit that they did it. They're going to have folks sign away rights to get pennies on the dollar because they're desperate. And here we are in a place where they somehow get rewarded. That's not going to happen. We can't let that happen. And so we're going to continue to fight hard and make sure that we are in there exposing Edison. I got to tell you, I joined LAFJ Justice because I felt that the integrity was there and they had done the work. They didn't advertise in the first 30 days. They were out there getting the information, proving, trying to find out how did the fire start. And because of that work, everybody now knows. And so we gotta, and the only reason that Edison is doing this is not out of the goodness of their heart, is because they know that they are guilty. So we just need to hang in there, and if anyone that you know who is in a tough position, try to encourage them as best they can. But we do appreciate and recognize that everyone's going to have to make their own choice in this matter going forward. Yes. Yeah. Right. Well, and then we have passed legislation. Part of the creating the Victims Fund was also increasing the standards for safety, and that Edison, as well as the other two investor-owned utilities, had to go through a process of getting certification on their wildfire mitigation plans. The thing about it is that what is clear to me is that the utilities just can't seem to learn. I think PG&E has gotten better. They're not near where they need to be, but they've gotten a lot better of where they were, because the legislation also called for, you have to clear your board. You have to come up with a new structure of government and leaders, and all of those folks needed to lose those jobs, and they did. And so there's steps that can be taken, but at the same time, Edison made a choice. You know, they could have shut down the power. That would have been smart. But if they had just done the basic maintenance on the tower that was not being utilized since 1971, if they had just bolted it down and grounded it, that even if that power surged from those two active towers into that deactivated tower, there wouldn't have been the same kind of damage. If they had just cleared the dry brush underneath the tower, those are basic maintenance type of issues. And so to that extent, they're always looking for an excuse, well, we're going to use the tower, maybe we're not going to use the tower in the future, but they have not been prudent managers, is what it shows me. And as a result of that, then they need to pay the price of that. But we have to make sure, too, at this moment, where we've got, you know, these are the kind of market forces we have, where we have investor-owned utilities, that those three represent 80% of the power for customers, for 80% of the customers in California. So there are a very small number of municipal-owned companies that are out there, like Pasadena, LADWP, Sacramento, and others that are providing power. And look, PG&E, their lines run through very hazardous woodland areas that have high risk. And with come high risk, there's very hard to try to find a way that someone's going to take over that high risk area. We explored these ideas before, and trying to break up PG&E as an example was going to be very difficult, because everybody wants the good part. No one wants the high risk part. And as a result of that, having the potential for liability, and how do you operate that? How does it become cost effective? So it's hard to break that piece away. But I do know that as we go forward, we're going to have to start thinking about other creative ways of how to go forward. I know that Pasadena has had its utility for over 100 years, and it's owned by the people of Pasadena and LADWP as well. So, but you know, look, with LADWP, if there was some connection to the utility causing the Palisades fire, that would put the city in a hurtful place. I mean, in terms of being able to stay solvent. So safety, I think, is going to be the real key. Preventative actions, and making sure that there's an effort to continue to invest so that we don't have faulty equipment, and that these utilities are doing all of what they're supposed to do to make sure that they're shutting the power, de-energizing the power. And let me just say this, and I'm going to turn it over to you, Freddie. When San Diego Gas and Electric in 2007 was experiencing fires down there that were devastating the San Diego community, one of the things that was very clear that the president and CEO of SDG&E at that time stood up and said, you know what, enough. We're tired of being a part of starting fires. And it became a cultural change. And then they started to invest money in technology to be able to do wind prediction, undergrounding their utility lines, doing more things that were proactive to make sure they were running a safe utility company. And until these utility companies decide that they're going to start choosing customers and the welfare of customers so they don't become victims of their wildfires over profits and over the shareholder interests, then we're going to continue to see some of these issues continue to spring up. So I'll just only say to you that change needs to happen. And Edison for a long time has been doing a lot of these same issues. They've just been caught in the shadow of PG&E, which is much bigger, and having a community that was just hateful of the utility, for lack of a better way to describe it. And they were able to get away from the limelight until now. They're definitely in the limelight right now. So this is the opportunity to hold them accountable. Thank you.
So we're going to see everybody Saturday. It's going to be a big party. So I'm going to do a shameless plug since he did. On the 6th of September will be the grand opening of the Community and Co-op and Resource Center. It's going to be something we've worked very, very diligent with. We partnered with UCLA, Charles Drew University, Trauma Resource Institute, Department of Mental Health of Los Angeles to provide incredible resources. We're going to have all the builders' resources, including architects, contractors, all the vetting things that we've kind of discussed over the last 7 weeks. We're going to have a variety of entertainment. We're going to have open night comedy. We're going to have music. We're going to have health, so it'll be free Pilates, yogas, and things of that nature, seniors and stuff. And it's going to be resident ran. So if you have an idea, like me and the mad scientists are thinking of creating a weekly meeting for active legislation. We're going to fight certain topics that need us to organize to push through legislation, including the 10%, things of that nature. So if you have an idea, whether it's like I want to talk to an arborist, we'll get an arborist. We have partners at UCLA School of Architecture. Nearly any resource you want, any idea you have, you bring it in and you do it. Or if you just want to hang out, you could use the computers, the fax, the phones, printers, everything. So you can meet friends there. You could do whatever you like. It's going to be beautiful. 6 spaces. And it's yours for you guys to use and have a home to do things. Even if you're having a birthday, you know, you may not have a home to have a party. So, hey, you want to have a little birthday party? We got you. All right? Okay. Today is called Building Smarter. Okay? Over the last 7 weeks, we talked about different home hardening techniques, different materials, and things of that nature. So we decided to gather some of the best in the business who can talk to you about different materials or different ways of building, different ways of home hardening, and things of that nature, okay? So just a quick rundown. Simple home hardening is going from a Class C roof to a Class A roof. Ember-proof vents, double pane glass windows, defending your home from having trees next to the home, okay? Because it's a lot of those trees that catch fire. So what there's going to be is gravel. There are certain things that you can do to defend your home. Now, me and the scientists are going to fight the state to pay for home hardening, okay? So that these homes get defended, and we're going to teach you how to talk to your insurance company to get that extra money of mitigation. You heard from Corey last week from SBA showing you how to get that extra 10, 20%. It exists. They don't tell you. You must ask or you must demand, okay? So these are just simple things, and simple things like keeping logs next to your home, having your outdoor barbecue gas tank. I know that's a little complex moving in and around, but you've got to think and defend your home because, like I said, it's the way COVID was stopped. Once everybody started getting vaccinated, less and less people. If your neighbor's home is hardened, your home is hardened, the less chance your neighbor's going to burn you down. It's not going to just wipe us all out. So the more we home harden, the more we defend our homes, we're defending an entire community. Okay, so we are going to do what? We're going to build our home smarter. Okay? I'm going to go through a few things. We put this together. It's called Hydro by the best water company in the business, Brio. It's called Hydra because Brio has exclusive distribution agreements, and so we created this product specifically for the wildfires in order to get you a discount that no distributor can get, okay? This we felt was important. Last week, LA Fire Justice put on an incredible town hall regarding environmentals and soil issues. So this is going to be a water issue. My concern is we get this great rain and we don't know what's going into the water supply. So you may want to think about a whole home defense. So when I talked to Brio, we met with the higher ups, and they developed a system, what they believe is a whole home water filtration system, all RO plus alkaline coming out. So whether it's this or whether it's anything else, I'm showing you this because we negotiated this at scale. But defend your water supply, however it is, okay? This system here does not include the filters and things of that nature. I'm just going to run through a lot of stuff with you today, and you're not going to need this right now, but I want you to think about it. When you start building your home, I want you to think about defending your water and defending your concrete, okay? These fires, listening to the soil town hall yesterday, got me a lot more concerned about what our environmentals look like. And we had USC, we had UCLA. I mean, we had the top brass who are doing this saying, yeah, there's lead. There's going to be needs for remediation. So think about these things on where you build and how you build, okay? I'm not going to bore everyone with this. I will get to the bottom line is this system here is cleans all your water because you're putting all new fixtures. So all my fixtures at my house has all that rust and the calcium, and it starts to decay and all these things. So this whole home RO system, whether it's this or any other one, is something you need to think about. This system here was $15,000. We negotiated with Brio to scale for $6,000. It doesn't need filters, complete RO system. You're going to get alkaline water, no more bottled water at home. You're going to get pure alkaline water coming out of your spout. So this is something, when you're ready to build and you're interested, just come to Alta Coalition and we'll connect you with Brio for this. This next one is massive, but this is for, you know, next level, possibly businesses and things of that nature. But we did negotiate heavy with them. No distributor, no nothing will be able to match these prices. They can't do it legally, but somehow we were able to do it legally. All right. Thank you for that. Thank you, Brio. All right, so since the fire, I have been meeting with Liam. He's been consulting me. This is way before all of this began. And he works with products that kind of, we've had a discussion over 6-7 years on like how to home harden. My concern was home harden and still looking to have a beautiful home. Like, who wants to live in FEMA fortresses? You know, we still want a beautiful home. And I think Liam works with products that I thought was amazing. I'm not here to endorse any product. What I'm here to do is have you start thinking about stuff like this as you're going on, whether it's his product, research, and things of that nature. But this system here seems like you could build your exact same home while defending it. And he's with Nadia Foley, and her topics is going to be regarding renewable energy. Because I know we've talked about the governor has says all you need to do is be solar ready. But I really wanted to know from her why you should probably do solar now, and I think it's going to be cost and things of that nature. So, Liam and Nadia, the mic is yours.
Thank you. Have any of you had solar before on your homes? You have. Did you love it? Yeah, it's the best. It's the best way to get away from the utilities is solar, because once you have solar, you have control over what you're spending. You're not worried about the utilities, Edison going up 10%. They go up an average of 3 to 5% every single year. Now, the Newsom did say all the new homes, the fire homes don't have to get solar now. He wants you solar ready, but it's a lot cheaper to get it while you're building your house. Then you could just lump everything into it. And I tell you, solar is our future. We really cannot continue functioning on fossil fuels the way we've been functioning. You're giving the earth a breath of fresh air, you're saving a ton of money, and you're in control. So there's a bunch of blue cards that are on the different chairs, and my information, my phone number, and my email is there. I am open to anything that you need to talk about or information. I am not selling you anything, but I'm here to help you if you do want to buy something. So, any questions? Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I know. You won't. Anybody that is going to get that 30% ITC tax credit has to be installed before the end of this year. It was supposed to go on for more years, but as we all know, it's not happening. Yeah. Yes, that has changed quite a bit too. It used to be really good. I strongly recommend, and this is what I do with every client that I have now, is you get a battery with your solar. That's where you get to save money and get paid for your solar. Because there are certain times of the year that Edison will pay you like $3 a kilowatt for solar, for energy that you're not using. But if you don't have a battery, you won't know when to use that. So batteries are imperative. Don't buy solar without a battery. And if you need any advice or help or direction for any of those things, don't hesitate to let me know, because I've been in this industry since it really first started like 14 years ago, when all we did was leases. I mean, there was no such thing as buying your solar or financing it. Yeah. Well, what I looked for and what I tell homeowners to look for is, first of all, the panel that you're getting is really important. So know your panels. Unfortunately, SunPower, which had the best panel in the world, has gone out of business. But there are, I like Q cells, and I think, Maxion. Yeah, that's SunPower. You can get them actually through Maxion, but Q cells and Canadian Solar are both really good panels. But of course, SunPower. The beautiful thing about SunPower, and I sold SunPower panels for almost my entire 14 years. I have never had to replace one panel for one homeowner, and I honestly used to place an average of 70 to 80 to 90 homes a year. So you're talking about 800 homes. And none ever returned, ever. That's how good their panels are. Well, we can get the SunPower now. What happens is SunPower sold their technology to Maxion, so you can still get that. I was just told that our company now, we can get them. They are the best panel in the world. You get that panel, you'll never have to worry about solar. They degrade at like less than 0.25% a year, or half between that and 0.5% a year. So at year 25, you're still producing 85% of your solar. It's the technology. It's the Maxion technology. It has a copper backing. They don't break. I mean, we used to have the cells. You could pretty much really bend them. They're very bendable. But it's the technology, the SunPower technology, which has been around about 35 years. NASA used them when they sent the rocket to the moon. So they are, yeah. SunPower. But now, yeah, SunPower's out of business, so you want to get it through Maxion. Or if you call us, we can get them for you. I mean, and install them and everything else. Yeah. Both. Uh-huh. Yeah, it depends. I mean, I always used to suggest buying if you can, because then you own them. It's too hard to tell because it all depends on the way your roof is laid out. Yeah, they're not cheap, but they will be in the long run. They are much cheaper than staying with the utilities. Well, usually the payback period, depending on whether you lease or you buy, is between 5 and 7 years. So that should give you an idea, I think. Can you get? I can't even give them. I can't even give
So,
them.
yeah, no worries. Hi, this is Liam. I guess this is the best time, more so than any, to introduce myself. So I work with Nadia. We're actually a manufacturing company that manufactures our own battery backups here in Riverside County. Can you hear me? Test. Yeah, good. Okay. Sorry, the mic wasn't close enough to my mouth, apparently. in recent times, you were asking about the leasing versus purchasing. The way the way the new Big Beautiful Act is, it's now saying that if you're a leasing company, you still qualify for the ITC tax credit. So you were asking whether you should buy or whether you should lease. Prior to this now, it's always been better to buy because you have a 30% ITC tax credit. But now the big box companies do get to take advantage of some of the ITC tax credit, so it makes sense for you to actually lease your product now because you still get the tax benefit. It's just you have to get it through them now, unfortunately, through a leasing company. So yeah, so there's a 30% ITC tax credit. If the project starts in 2025, then you still qualify for it. It doesn't have to finish. You just have to start it by 2025, which some of you guys aren't even going to start building your houses for 2 years. So, you know, unfortunately, you're not going to have that option. However, the Big Beautiful Bill does say that these tax credits will be taken advantage of by some of the leasing companies or the PPAs. So you can still take advantage of it. You just have to go through another option. So our company, I've been in solar not quite as long as Nadia, but I've been in solar since 2010, 2011. I started out in Kauai, which is one of the islands in Hawaii. It's a Schedule Q market. So the Schedule Q market means it doesn't evenly distribute the power for nighttime usage. So that's why we got into battery manufacturing right here in Riverside, because we had to figure out a way to store the power and reuse it at night. So what Nadia was saying earlier, create your own power, store your own power, use your own power. You don't have to rely on the utility company to do so. But we started in 2010 just doing sales, installation, and then we started becoming an EPC, which is an equipment providing company, where we start carrying our own equipment, manufacturing our own equipment, and actually distributing our own equipment. So we partnered up with 4 different hedge funds all across the United States, and one of them actually took a federally funded product for affordable housing to rebuild your house at a very affordable rate. This is back when, in the last administration, it was called LMI, which is low to medium income. So you could build a house for less, it was about $100 a square foot. So it's a low carbon footprint product, yeah. And this is what it's called as EcoCrete. So EcoCrete, one of the hedge fund companies that we partnered up with, which if you look at some of your seats, you're gonna see some pamphlets. Again, we're not trying to push anything on you. We're just simply trying to offer you something at a much more affordable price, because we understand that some of you guys lost your insurance right before the fire. Unfortunately, we apologize. There's nothing anybody could have done about it. However, you can rebuild your home at a more cost-effective approach. This is about $100 and some change on the rough end to rebuild your home with a low carbon footprint. It's eco-friendly concrete. So it was a federally funded project that they took, and then a private hedge fund company took it to the next level. They actually started putting high-end finishes like stucco, like plaster. So you can take, you know, a beautiful home in Altadena and Palisades, and have a beautiful stucco outside finish, or even a plaster outside finish with a plaster inside. So all of these products were developed for green in mind. It was actually, like I said, a government-funded project. The hedge fund company took it to the next level by adding these high-end finishes. The beautiful part about it is that you get to skip all of the inspections. So when you're building a house, and I know because I was a licensed contractor in San Diego for the last six or 7 years, so I've done government projects. You have a hanging for the inside, interior. You got a hanging inspection. You got a taping inspection. You got a mudding inspection. Then you got a finish inspection. On the outside, you have a framing. Then you got paper. You got lat. Then you got your first coat, your brown coat. Then you got a finish coat. Then you got your lace or whatever your knockdown finish is. There's multiple different inspections to get to that point, which is why it takes about 6 months to 2 years to build a house, especially in LA, right? How many people have built a house here in LA or in the surrounding areas and you've done it in 3 months? It doesn't happen, right? So this product, if you look at it, it's a whole building house system. We have a timestamp video where we built a whole house, 1,500 square feet, in 72 hours. You pour the slab, it's a whole house system. It covers the roof, the outside. You use 3/4-inch panels. You have a nice high-end plaster finish. So you don't have to settle for a subpar product and where you're keeping the valuation of your home solid. So you have a nice plaster finish, a nice stucco finish. You have a roofing system. You can put whatever you want on your roof, whether it be concrete, whether it be shingles, whether it be tiles, Monty or S-curb, whatever you want. It doesn't matter. It's a whole system that allows you to build your house at a much more effective approach. So I'm going to skip through this a little bit. This is the eco panel, so it's on the outside and the inside of the place. It's quick. We have this takes the longest part of the whole build out is pouring the slab and the foundation, doing your tee-ups, doing your electrical, doing your plumbing, doing your all the wastewater. That's the longest part of the whole project. Everything else goes up cookie cutter. It's not a manufactured home, so it doesn't qualify as a manufactured home. It has some of the highest insulated ratings from R24 to R60 in the industry. I think the code here in California is R38 for the attic and R19 in the wall. This is R24 to R60, so it's higher than the California standards currently that it currently exists. And again, we have stucco exterior, we have plaster exterior. But here's the best part about this product, and this is why we're here tonight, is that California has raised the fire level from 5 to 7 for some of the products that are being manufactured that go into a home. Our product is rated number 9, so you can light a torch to it. I have a video that I didn't share with Freddy before this. We were in Miami doing a rebuild after the hurricane. We literally had a blowtorch on the product. I think I showed it to Nadia for like 5 minutes. I didn't show it because I was drinking a margarita in that video, so. But anyway, I didn't show it, but we had a torch hitting it for about 5 minutes, and afterwards I put my hand on it, and it was cold to the temperature. So it's not only heat resistant, it's fireproof. So it's rated at 9. So if you want a house that's not gonna where history repeats itself, it's a great product. I stand behind it. That's one of the reasons it meets the IBC steel frame construction standards. It'll actually withstand hurricanes up to a zone 4, a category zone 4. It's easily and rapidly assembled, again, within a couple of days with skilled laborers. It utilizes the plaster mix for fire rated for the interior abuse and resistant finishes along with the outside. And then again, you get the nice high-end finishes like the Eco Creek, or you have the Eco stucco, the Eco plaster. There's even Eco ballast. Now, for the guys in the room, you're going to think this is cool. For the ladies, you're not going to care, but it is actually bulletproof. So here you got the Eco Creek plaster. And look, you have all the pamphlets, so I'm going to zip through this because I don't want to take too much time. Freddie's giving me the little stink eye over there, so I'm going to. This is the Eco ballast. So again, it's even bulletproof. Not that we care about bulletproof, but I mean, let's face it, it's a tough material. So for the guys, we're like, we love the bulletproof stuff. For the ladies, what you care about is that it's going to last for a very, very long time. And if a stray bullet does come out, not saying that we live in bad neighborhoods, you don't have to worry about sleeping at night. You can sleep very well. I know I do, because it'll stop a bullet. So one of the good things that, not to mention it was, let me go back one, it's environmentally consciously friendly. So the way that it was done, it's low VOCs, it's low carbon footprint. So that's what we give back to the community by having an energy efficient product at a low affordable cost to help you get back in your house quicker to avoid all those inspections. So instead of the hanging, the stucco, the taping, the mudding, the exterior, the roof, all that other stuff, 72 hours you're up and going. Again, the guys, this is 357 Magnum, that's a 40 cal. I'm not gonna touch a lot of that because there's a lot of ladies in the room, but the guys do kind of like that. But not to mention it's at 9,000, 8,000 and 9,000 PSI, which is some of the strongest concrete on the planet, which makes it more durable. We just figured out a way to put high-end finishes like the plaster and the stucco on it so you can have a beautiful home. So the people that are underinsured or that got their insurance canceled 4 months prior to the fire, which again, I apologize, it's horrible to hear. When we first heard it from Nadia, she asked us for our help. So we reached out to Freddy. We have 4 or 5 different hedge fund companies that we do business with that's willing to offer you guys financing. Even if you have a 560 FICO score, they're willing to do a hybrid 30-year mortgage. They include all of these products in there as long as you use our products. They'll do 120% LTV, which means if your house is $500,000 and it's going to cost 25% more to add all these products, instead of having your mortgage be here, plus 5 other things like solar, like the water, you could add his water purification, some of the products that he's offering, we're going to go 120% LTV of the cost, so you have one bill. You don't have one bill with a bunch of other stuff on add-ons, and that's what she was saying. It's more cost-effective to do it while you're building the house, especially with some of these financing products that we're able to offer you guys. Or let's say that you had some challenges and you couldn't pay your bills. We'll do 80%, plus we'll pay off all your debt. At the standard rates, whether it's like 4 or 6% plus one prime. So it's plus 1 prime over the current. So we're not gouging. I know that was a big thing. There's $2 billion that was set aside at the beginning of this fund, but it was in poor taste for us to mention it. If you had a FEMA document or insurance, we would do it at 4%. We'd front load the money in 10 days, so you could start building your house right away with our products. We came to Freddy several months ago. He said it was probably in poor taste because the SBA was here also offering the same thing, 4%. So we kind of stepped back and took a back seat to that because we didn't want to be that guy to come out and start offering different products. We really genuinely did want to help, though, and these are the products that we're offering. It was 1 to 4, 2.5 to 4 in the beginning, though. Okay, around. Okay, yeah. If you qualify for it, great. Yeah, and again, that was what we were offering in the beginning. That's not what we're offering now. So now what we have, we took that away because we didn't want to compete against the SBA at all. So now from a private sector, it's just a simple, straight, traditional hybrid loan, but they'll do 125% LTV, so you can fit everything into one monthly payment. Or let's say that you have credit card debt. They'll pay off your credit card debt. They'll do 80% LTV, and they'll pay off all your debt, so you fit in the box. So instead of going to your bank and have to fit in your traditional box, maybe your credit was tarnished or challenged because you had to deal with some stuff, they'll take care of all your debt, fit you in the box, and then they'll still finance you for these homes using our products, and it keeps the cost down low. So you can literally build a house for like $200 a square foot. You got some of the most fire-resistant products on the market, not to mention some of the really cool stuff that Nadia's going to talk to you guys about. I'm sorry? So the roughing cost is a little bit over $100 a square foot. That'll build the roof. That'll build all your inside walls, outside walls, and then you still got your finishes. And that's what Freddy's going to talk to you about at the Design Works coming up next month. I believe it's on the 6th at 8 o'clock. 6 o'clock. Okay. So that's going to be talked about then. We're just here for the outside finishes to make sure the catastrophic events that happen don't happen again. So we don't want your houses to burn down a second time. We're trying to just offer you a great product at a quality price, and then talk to this man right here about getting all your finishes, or talk to this beautiful lady about getting some of your products done in one low payment, so you don't have a bunch of different products that you have to finance. Absolutely. So that's all I got, Freddy. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
All right. I do want to make some clarifications. The 6th is a grand opening party and fun. Finishes we're going to talk about today. And let me just talk about this loan a little bit. I had talked to Liam. He came to me early on. I said, we're working with SBA. We've done 60 events with SBA. We've issued out $3.3 billion. It was 2.53%. If you didn't live in your home, it was up to 4%. So in commercial was at 5%. But I told Liam, through the case management, what we're starting to see are people who are short on building, who need to kind of have enough money till they settle their Edison case, because that should help cover it. And a lot of people didn't qualify for SBA. And so hopefully none of you fit into that category, but we need another option. We just can't tell these people, sorry, So I said, maybe they got 400,000, they need 600 to build. So, providing that gap loan might have been important. So that's the reason why I told them to, when SBA is done, come to me with some other things, because there's going to be some people who may lose their home if they don't have any other source of income. So that's the reason. May not be for you. It's just another option available. So the 6th is a party, but fun. We're going to have a lot of amazing things there. But what I do want to get into is finishes and explaining how a lot of our homes were built with materials that aren't for sale nowadays. They won't allow you to use those on your homes. And along the way, Like I said, we have partnered with companies of 210,000 products, but one of our favorite companies that have supported us from day one, who has just been absolutely incredible across the board, who has agreed to negotiate for us at scale, is Ruben, Forma Design, and MSI. And I told them to come out here, let's talk about some of these products. Let's talk about what you do and talk about how you are going to be helping the community. Ruben, come on down.
Good evening. My name is Ruben Ognesian. I'm with Forma Design Center. Quick background, we're family owned and operated since 1989. And our focus and our specialty, in a nutshell, has been sourcing, specifying, procuring finished materials, really from drywall and on. And right now, maybe that phase might seem a bit distant. Truth be told, I've always found the finish phase to be probably one of the most overwhelming stages throughout your construction and remodeling experience. When you get into finishes, under normal circumstances, the project budget has been blown through the roof. Your patience, your sanity, there's a lot of things that are compromised. And I didn't want to use this evening as sort of our initial introduction to get into the granular details of, well, we can get into doors, we can get into millwork, we can discuss natural stone, we can discuss mosaics, architectural panels. These are all materials that we cover. The focus of tonight was really to explain, under the sort of guidance and the spearheading of the Alta team and Freddy and his team, we've been able to really put together a very unique relationship. We've partnered with MSI. For those that may not be familiar, MSI is one of the largest distributors globally, with a market cap of about $2.5 billion today. We are very lucky, we are very blessed to say that we do in fact rank as their top dealer on the West Coast. And so Freddy and the team wanted to figure out how to create a very streamlined relationship when those undergoing the rebuilding process get to the stage where finishes become critical. It's very overwhelming. Today, our current product line consists of, I'd say, about 28,000 different SKUs. That would not work on the scale of the rebuild. That would not work at the pace that things need to move. And frankly, it would be a very overwhelming process. So what we've been diligizing, what we have been working on and streamlining rather, is putting together what we coin as packages and mood boards, really, that are true to the aesthetic of the architecture, the design, the soon-to-be integrity of the neighborhood, if you will, architecturally speaking, be it contemporary, mid-century craftsmen, and so forth and so on. And we've put together a lineup of finishes and products that we've been able to negotiate with our buying power, with the buying power of MSI, to really allow that savings to trickle down to those that are going through the rebuilding process. And I think it's important to, and I do want to add that right now we are working on headquarters hand in hand with Freddy and the team. I think for those that will be attending the upcoming grand opening, you will also be able to witness an example of what we're going to be able to offer throughout this relationship with Alta Design Works in terms of finishes and options and selections. But most importantly, we wanted to focus on stuff that's on the ground logistically, that's readily available, that we can stock heavy, that we can pass on the bulk buying savings down to our homeowners and residents. And also, with regard to the headquarters, we will be implementing what we like to coin as kind of our satellite showroom, if you will, which will consist of very curated, selected, aesthetic, like proper materials that we'd like to offer for those that are working with the coalition and with Alta Design Works. I thank you. I'm happy to answer any questions. I feel like I don't want to overwhelm you with getting into a lot of granular details. I will tell you that through our relationship, anything following drywall, will be able to supply you with. You'll probably be under market by 40% in terms of savings. These are all real numbers. This is something that we're pulling the data as we speak. So if you do have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so for example, if you switch screens there, can we show that there? If I may,
And I'll chime in. I'll chime in to help you. Everyone's home is unique and special, and that's how we see it. There are some guys like who we brought for Genesis, which is kind of like, here's the home. If you like that, here's the price. But for the bulk of us, our homes are our identity. It's who we are. It's our culture. It's our ideas. It's our fit. So that's why I've been telling you guys for 7 weeks to come in, meet with us, and we'll help you create something with a price, like with a real price, with real finishes, with real concepts. When he talks about package finishes, I just want to divert. I got a call from my sister yesterday. She and her family have been licensed general contractors for 30 years. And she just called me crying. And she says, I don't know where to start. You know, and I've had this from day one. It's like, I'm a contractor. I don't know how to start. And we've took that into consideration. We're not here to sell you anything. We are here to curate something that you can have a starting point from, that you can have a real idea of what it looks like, to get a taste and a real price, and a price that you could go shop around and say, hey, could you match this? Can you beat this? Or you get a contractor's price and realize, I'm getting a good deal, I'm getting a bad deal, I'm getting a fair deal. So that's why the one-on-one's important. It's no charge, takes none of your time. We've got these contractors, architects, and structural engineers willing to go to your home for free. That's part of the deal of joining what we put together. So I know, I wish I could just say, this is what it's going to cost. But you may want granite, and you want it to run up your kitchen instead of tile. You may want to expand your bathroom, or you want a larger shower, and that shower tub. Those are all little things, and they got to be cleared through. So I just wanted to chime in. I wish it was a lot easier than to just say, I mean, I could tell you how much the slab would be, but you know, that's not what you need. You need a real price.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I've been doing this. Well, if I can add in terms of tangible, the packet's great, it's wonderful, but we are presently working on the headquarters, which will be a showroom based in Altadena. So this young lady and others like her who have questions and want to come through, and they want to touch and feel and see and understand, okay, what are the prices are going to be? Yes, I can create a list, it's not a problem, but it would be useless for me to give you a list of 100 quartz countertops, low silica, non-low silica, quartz sets, etc. I was merely making an introduction today that we are going to be working hand in hand with Alta Design Works. We are working diligently in preparations for their grand opening and their launch, which will be a satellite showroom, which will offer samples, displays, literature, catalogs, at which point you'll also be able to see some of the curated and pre-selected packages and options, which also will give you a better understanding of project cost and budgeting. Yeah. Yeah, this is just one page of what we offer.
Across the board. So we're not the ultimate answer. But if I could solve a bunch of your problems and you leave with just a few left, kind of helped you. Or we kind of got you where you need, you know? And for a minimum, the whole purpose behind this isn't for you to come see me or us to build your home. It's to give you knowledge and empowerment. I mean, when we had planning, building safety, assessors, you have the knowledge, because I don't want to see anyone hurt, cheated, ripped off, or making a bad decision. So through my sister and through the pain that I felt, I said, okay, we just can't say, here's the knowledge, now go figure it out. Because some people say, well, there's 22,000 different kitchen cabinet doorknobs. So we got a designer and said, put together the hottest, sexiest things that you can find. And that's why when we said put together ideas and concepts, it gives you a vision. It also gives you some hope that it's manageable, because none of us signed up to build a home. This is a disaster. You know, when you're working out of trauma, it's very difficult to function and to think. And we just want to help you think or give you support. Or also, you know, maybe we can't help you with a house, but we got UCLA School of Mental Health there that might be able to give you some other assistances, you know? Or you just need companionship, or you just want to drink wine, because we're going to always have wine somewhere around there. So that's really what we're trying to do, is to create a hub where if you need building help, architectural help, or you just need a friend, that's where we can help you. And that's why we met with Anderson Doors and Windows. That's why we found another window supplier out of Pennsylvania who will make it just like Anderson without the name Anderson at an additional half the cost. So, you know, you just may be in the building and say, Freddy, can you help me with windows? I'm like, yeah, here's a window guy. You know, or I need stone. Here's this. Or there's this. And I just went to their showroom, and I'm not pumping them up. Their granite and marble and porcelain selection I never knew even existed on that level. So I recommend whoever wants to go to MSI. Go look, go explore, learn, teach yourself. I mean, it's all empowerment information.
Give you a list of all these different products, but you're gonna have 30% of this one, 50% of this one. It's really, really hard to scale when you're talking about products of magnitude, and it's never gonna be in stock. So what we have this week is 100 of these that we got at a fraction of the cost. This is 30%. Next week we're gonna run out of those supplies because there's so many people. Now you have another product at a different percentage. So the challenge we're trying to scale, and what he's talking about, I can attest to. I've done North Carolina, I've done Florida after the hurricanes, and now we're doing here over in California. I have a house in Carlsbad in San Diego, so I know about the fires in San Diego. I'm a fellow Californian, so but I'm originally from Texas. I'm sure you can hear the accent. I'm a country boy, but I've been all over the place doing disaster relief. And what he's saying is absolutely true. It's impossible to scale it simply because there's only a certain amount of supply. Like he might have beautiful, beautiful marble, and he only has like 100 slabs. After 1,500 homes buy 100 slabs, now what are you going to do? Now you have to go to granite. You can't go to quartzite. Now you can go to quartz, which is an artificial material, or you can go to quartzite, which is real stone. So there's different materials, and there's only so much supply on each one. So it's really hard for them to scale and put a price list on here. Me, I gave you $100 a square foot. That was on the rough end on just the outside. The inside, the reason I said 200, I think you asked the question, why did I fluctuate? I was just adding the rough end for us versus them. So it's really hard for them to scale a price, and I've been doing this for a long time. Since 2015 when Hurricane Katrina came out, I was with FEMA, SBA, in Madisonville, Louisiana, passing out MREs and water rations. And I followed Houston, Texas, Florida, Panama. I've rebuilt homes, I've done all kinds of stuff, and I've been a contractor in San Diego the last 6 or 7 years who have dealt with MSI a bunch, and they have good quality products. But I can attest, it's really hard to scale when you're talking about a product line of this magnitude, and everyone's different taste. She said she liked Italian, now she's going farm style. So at the end of the day, you have to take that in consideration. Sometimes, you know, your lifestyle or your choices might not fit with your budget, but that's why we're all trying to come together as a community and save you guys some money, whether it be the exterior, the interior, the finishes, the outside, whatever we could do. But now you can have your dream home still at a fraction of the cost. And I think that's the point here.
And I can give you a number for the builders that you have met with, from Calabasas to Beverly Hills, across the board. My threshold was finished custom craft homes, separate from what he's doing, not to exceed 450 out the door, with all of your appliances, with all of your double pane windows, with all your top line items. So that's, if that helps you, that is kind of where these buildings and all built in with the surveyors and everything like that is. We've got homes and builders that will be less than that, but we are not working with anyone over 450. So it depends on the builder that you like within this coalition. Entire home with appliances and landscaping, not tremendous. It depends on the hardscape, but we're keeping everything under 450, and this is all top line products. Yeah, so the reason we send out the architect, a structural engineer, and a contractor for free is so that they can assess that, so that there's no shock or surprise. So when they do give you an assessment, there's not gonna be a change. And so they'll go out there for free to get an analysis if you need a retaining wall, if you need to move tons of dirt, if you have an environmental and you gotta remove dirt, that stuff has to be assessed in advance. And some of these retaining walls get very, very expensive. We just spoke to someone who laid a foundation. I'm not gonna tell you how much the price was because it shocked me, and I'm not gonna tell you guys. But because of what he was doing and how it was going, that foundation, ghastly expensive. But he had a very weird situation. So, you know, in order for someone to give you a real price, like if a contractor, structural engineer doesn't go look at your property and assess, I'd be very weary about this bid he gives you. And a lot of people, you know, outside of EcoCrete will give you a low bid, and then you find out it doesn't include windows and doors and things of that nature. So also what we'll do is we'll empower you with contractual terms from the disaster that I have worked with Latham and Watkins, so that I'm going to give you this information. So if whoever you hire, you say, and I want these terms in my agreement, okay? As long as you come through Alta Coalition and you could just order directly. The reason being, we don't make money off that at all. but it's called collective purchasing. So I begged him to give us tier 1 plus pricing as if everybody's bought for us in the beginning, because it's unfair for him to go, I'll keep reducing prices as more people buy. I said, it's not fair for the person who bought first. So he's agreed to give us top tier pricing as if everybody's going. So I encourage you guys to but if you don't go through the Alta Coalition, how's he know, how you landed there? So how's he know to give you this discount? We've spent 6 months negotiating with different companies on purpose. And not to benefit me, to benefit us collectively. Make sense? So the more Brio is sold, the better. That means there's stronger service and warranty and things of that nature. A lot of them have agreed to give us this pricing because we're disaster victims. But if you were to go anywhere else and say, hey, we have a potential, they say, okay, I'll keep reducing it down as you buy. So if you just want to buy MSI finishes, just say for a minimum, hey, Altadena Coalition sent me. So he goes, oh, okay, let me put you into a different program that shows these discounts that a regular person isn't going to get.
Going through their coalition, is there a potential for a bottleneck once you slow them down?
That's supply.
We've been working very diligently on that concern because we also have projects through the Palisades as well. Right now, what we're doing to avoid the bottleneck is we've procured an exclusive team in-house. This team and I is going to be focusing on Palisades and Altadena. More importantly, we have also been putting together a very specific purchasing program in terms of what we're bringing in, logistically, warehousing-wise. We are talking to a number of our factories, a number of our other fellow distributors globally. Obviously, we have issues right now that tariffs and just the political climate. So the other thing is that we've been working in the background diligently on protecting the premiums and the purchasing costs of product. Like the material that we have on the ground today, we're securing those prices, 12 months from now too. And that takes a tremendous amount of work. But as it stands now, we don't foresee, based on kind of how we've put together the team and our systems, that we're going to have issues with bottlenecking, with supply. I mean, we're stocked pretty heavily. And again, yes, there is a special incentive if it's through the coalition, because some of these premiums would not be available to the public. Oh, yes, sorry.
Or with the Footnote catalog, or these homes being supplied by you with your countertops and stuff?
Altadena Coalition and Alta Design Works.
Whatever materials and products that you want, if you just travel through the Altadena Coalition, we've negotiated set pricing. So if you call from Foothill Catalog, they may not, we've been assigned a special situation, but yes, you can purchase the discounts. We encourage everybody to, because that's how we're able to get the discounts. We have it's not like we're trying to gatekeep or anything. We truly want everyone to purchase at the discount. But they don't know unless you at least contact through us. when I started, I saw everybody's policy. There's a lot of people who are underinsured. And I said to myself, there's no way that we could rebuild unless we have a different way of purchasing. So I began talking to manufacturers, trying to bypass every single person who makes profit. By time your contractor buys something, let's just say from Home Depot, there's about 5-6 people who made profits on it. And I said, there's no way we could build that way. So we gotta go direct. And that was my whole strategy. And do I have the answer for everything? No. Are we going to go through bumps and stumbles? Yes. Has anyone else here has lost 10,000 homes in an urban wildfire? It's not a wildfire, no. So we're, as much stress and pain you're going through, it's gonna be a process for all of us. The only thing we can do is take some little wins and get there, you know? I wish there was a system. Now, hopefully for the next disaster, some of this infrastructure we put in place could just be sent to Florida or whatever. But we have to build this from ground up. It's a lot of work. And hopefully we're a service, you know, to you, even if you just need windows.
So Freddy, so those design builders that you brought to talk here and present to us, have you talked to them and instruct them that it's an option for us to buy the materials through
Everyone except
and then-
Genesis. So Genesis is a home in a box, okay? They can only get this type of structure through their specific, so they're buying one type of item. So they know to that supplier that I'm gonna buy, you know, he has 26,000 products. They may buy 10 and say, but I'll buy a lot of these. This is the price that I want. And those products are specific to their builds. But you know, it's I don't say home in a box, the home in a box. Do you like this home, that home, or that home? Do you like this color, that color, that color? Do you like that paint, that paint, that paint? That's your home. And for a lot of people, that works, you know? So, but for other people, they want to craft custom home design, unique, special to them, with things that are important to them, you know? Maybe some people want a bigger bathroom and a smaller bedroom. Some people want a bigger bedroom and a small bathroom. Those are the things that the builders that we got from Calabasas and like LG builders and things of that nature are gonna build you a custom home that you're gonna spend more time helping create and design.
Freddy, when people come to you and ask for a general sense of cost per square foot, if people are rebuilding in a way to build their dream home, because now it's an opportunity to rebuild, why not build my dream home? But maybe their previous home wasn't even their dream home, it was just a home. So there are people that just want to rebuild something, they don't care what the home is, they just want to have a home back on their property.
Right.
So it's everything from economy to what was there before to a dream home, right?
Right.
Based on square foot, price per square foot, is there a general sort of guidance that you provide to people? Like if you heard someone was rebuilding, they're getting charged $900 a square foot, they're like, whoa, what's going on? Like,
So-
they don't even know. They have no clue what it is per square foot.
So I can show you videos, and I'm sure you guys have. If you drive through San Marino, or if you drive through Arcadia, or if you drive through El Monte, you could probably tell, or like Palisades, you can probably tell that something's gonna be expensive. I'm sure you've walked into the mall and realized that's an expensive store, and that may not be. So a beautiful craftsman home with beautiful fixtures and beautiful design with a custom designer and all that, we're building at around $450. Can you ask for 12? I mean, when I went to the window company, I saw doors that I never knew existed. There are glass, you know how we have sliding glass doors? There are glass doors that are accordion. So when you open it, it folds like a complete accordion flat down, you know? So when you start talking about those things, when you say home of your dreams, that changes the dynamics. Now, do we have designers and builders that will do that? Yeah. The beauty is with us, you're gonna get a bid. So it's not gonna cost you anything to get a bid. Like this home here, design and everything, will cost you this much. So, people have different tastes, you know?
Yeah.
Like I was,
There should be a benchmark of.
yeah, the benchmark's 450. 450, you have a home with everything you need. That's how we're building.
The lower end 3 to 450. That's like the numbers that kind of stay with. 3
Because
to
I've talked to a lot of
450
people that
max.
have in their head, they spend a lot more than that. That's
We
Well,
were- people
this is
charging
why we,
700.
this is why we spent, this is why we spent a lot of time with MSI, Builder Surplus, all of these Anderson windows and all that, to, if I'm saving you 20, 30, 40% on the materials, how am I able to get these homes down to 450 with high-end materials? We're not talking, we're talking MSI quality.
Yeah.
So that was the whole purpose, is collective purchasing. That's how we're able to do it. But that doesn't mean someone's building a $700, $800, $900 square foot home isn't going to get a $900 square foot home. You know what I mean? With these incredible, marble wall to wall. I mean, there are things that are opulent that if you want, you should have, but it's not going to be, $450. If you want 12-foot archways, some people want our standard pool. Some people want a pool with a water slide and a mountain and fire. Those things all end up costing. So we're giving you a benchmark of a beautiful custom craftsman home to be proud of with your designers and all beautiful at $450. You want opulent? You could build
Or less.
whatever you want, or
By
less.
the way, it's fair to say, if you had a craftsman before, now you have a new craftsman. So it's like, at a good price, you now have a new home that's very less than what you had before. It's new.
You're gonna have a beautiful home.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And new is still very nice when you have a home.
Yeah, and what we wanted to do was let people know that you can build a home at a good price and not just have to be a modular or a 3D home or things of that nature. And that was the strategy, is to be able to collectively purchase and work with guys. See, a regular contractor makes money on your material. When we said, if you guys want to work with us and we'll help talk to residents and things of that nature, you can't make money on the material, and that really hurts contractors. But I said, but we'll get you more homes. So instead of trying to make all your money on one home, if you got 5 homes, can you make your money without making and purchasing? And sometimes, he's a purchase manager. That's his forte. Working with a purchase manager, we do all the purchasing, we give it to you, and just go ahead and build it. We'll buy the materials. So these are things like each individual will have a custom situation. But depends on their money. When we look at their money, we say, this is the best you can get. And how are you gonna do it? You're gonna have to purchase the material direct, okay? Hand it to the contractor and let him build it out. But some people, they have enough money and they don't need the hell, because convenience has a cost. That's just life. You want a chauffeur? Has a cost.
There's a lady who only had really like.
And I have a contractor here who may want to chime in. Tony?
No.
I see you shaking your head while I've been talking, and I want all opinions. I'm not the end-all, say-all. All I know is what we were able to put together. But you've got craft builders like Tony, who's vetted and has built some of the greatest, most beautiful homes. It's not going to be 450, right? But are you going to build 10 homes?
It depends on the sequence. I can't build 10 homes on a sequential, but I can do it on a stage.
Correct.
I'm a small company.
So there is no right or wrong answer. The goal is to make sure you don't get screwed, number one, by any contractor. And 2, this is what we're able to offer. There may be other groups that could offer that or that. This is the best with our brain power and our negotiation skills and the relationships that we built. This is what we could do for you. Might work for you, may not. That's why I even brought Genesis here. It's like, hey, here's some people say, I like that home, I like that color. Call me when the keys are ready. Don't call me anywhere else. We're helping people also set up construction trust and escrows so that their money is safe and that there's earmarks. We've helped create different construction contracts so that you can just have the contract. So, hey, Freddy, I don't need nothing, but can I get a copy of that amazing bulletproof contract? Here you go. Any other tips? Yeah, create a construction trust. These are the 10 times that they should release money. This are the questions that you should ask your insurance to get the extra 10%. These are things you should do in home hardening. We're just here to bring you a resource. If you get 100% of what we offer, fantastic. If you get 1%, I just need windows. I just want amazing granite tops. Okay, just tell them you're from Alta Coalition. That's it. There's no, this way he could put you into a different account that shows, okay, these guys are getting 40% off. Because there's no reason, if you just call MSI and say, I want a countertop, you're not going to say, oh, everybody gets 40% off. These are specific to wildfire victims, survivors.
From what I've learned is before the fire, there was actually pricing that they could give you, like almost close to what the cost is, because concrete's the same, wood's the same, those things were the same. But because it's a fire in so many, a lot of the contractors thought, let's put a package together so people don't have to think. They're not in the right mind, they're not in the right stage, it's too much for them to think, and that's where the whole packaging came into. So if you had to say, what is the pricing to build the house without the finishes? It could be between 300 to 350 a square foot, and you can find that. You're not gonna get a door and you're not gonna do that. And you could go and find your own door at a flea market and you want some specialty, and you could do that. You're just gonna have to do the work for it. So you could get a contractor cheaper for outside, and we have contractors for that. It's just that when people say they put the packaging, and what is that? They can't give you a full accurate price because everybody wants something different. And I think that's maybe where the confusion is turnkey and the full build, like the build, and that may be it.
I'll give you another example. When I went there were rare granites and marbles that I know he can't give me 40% off of. You know what I mean? So you might go, all right, I know you're giving me a good deal on everything. He might say, look, the best I can do is 10% on this because this is just cost us so much and it came from this mine and from Italy there's only 20 pieces. So we wanted you to have the ability to choose and develop your own home, so you could pick that granite and say, I still want that. And that's where this all comes around to.
Just to kind of reloop back, are you saying that around September 6th, we're going to have a showroom?
We're going to have a grand opening. We're going to have a lot of items that you'll be able to see. It's my goal is to, of course, help you guys rebuild, but I have other goals, and that goal is to also create a center and hub. So I don't want people just to go there and think it's a commercial rebuild showroom. It's really designed to be a place to get all the information, to get all the resources, and to get everything. But I'm not going to put 60,000 stone products. If you want to see 60,000 products, I'll send you to MSI. You want to see kitchen cabinets? I'm going to send you to the people who do the kitchen cabinets too. He has 60,000 in-stock kitchen cabinets. The goal is to get you to the right place, and you get to go, sir, I want all these kitchen cabinets from the Alta Coalition. So he goes into a different code and puts it in, and then you get these discounts. That's how the whole system works. But if you want us to build them, then we've already negotiated these things with them, and there's a system in place with architects and designers and people that you've met. That's why I wanted you guys to hear and see from them. Some you like, some you don't like. And if you saw the one you like, and if you just love your architectural plans, bring them to us. I'll have these guys bid it. You get a bid back. It costs you nothing. You go, okay, these guys are going to charge me $750,000 to build the home the way I wanted. Go to the builder you like and say, hey, how much? He says $650. Great, that's your builder. He says $950. You might come back to this guy and say, okay, build my home. But it's information is the whole key.
And just really quickly to add to that question, outside of the coalition headquarters, I will provide information that you'll have the addresses to 2 brick and mortar physical locations where you can look at these products. One is based in Sun Valley. The other one is based in North Hollywood.
And how many square feet are they?
North Hollywood is not too big, 14,000. Sun Valley's 80,000.
80,000 square feet. So I'm gonna give you guys something, but it's mostly if you like this, okay, go see 80,000 square feet of. You know how big these slabs are?
What day is that going to be?
So the grand opening, it's a party. We're gonna have elected officials speaking. We're gonna have music. That's gonna be a welcoming. Then, from that point on, you just come at any time and call Benny, say, hey, I want to sit with you.
That's on the 6th?
Yeah, so that's at 6:30 on the 6th. From that point on, it's a full resource hub. You come anytime because we're gonna have a bunch of programming. So, 3 o'clock Wednesday, we're gonna have an arborist. 2 o'clock, we're gonna have home hardening. 3 o'clock, we'll have MSI back over to talk about granite, so there'll be constantly info sessions. Some people want that, some people say, I just want to meet builders and architects, get me a bid, get me out the door.
Yes, ma'am.
I believe, but it seems like piggybacking on what the lady up front was saying, there should be some kind of set figure, say 1,500 square feet house, moderate price, premium price, and a superior price that is just like an estimate of what it might cost.
Yeah, so we are preparing. What we're going to have is 3 tiers. We're going to have our, Econo series, which is very price aggressive. That price is going to be contingent on, let's just use floor covering as an example. Floor covering can range in the mid ones and can get quite up there. But let's say mid ones to an average of mid threes. As a vinyl product, we will offer products that are 5.5 mil, 6.5 mil, 7.5 mil. EIR embossed finishes, aluminum oxide seal finishes. These are all things that we will explain because the team and I will be working one-on-one with anyone who has questions. If we know through the team that you want to come in, you want to have a hands-on meeting, we will do the breakdown. But right now the idea is 3 tiers. Our flagship tier, which is, again, very aggressively priced for what we consider flagship. Then we have our mid-tier, and we're going to have our very budget-aggressive tier. But again, we've been doing a lot of due diligence that we're not just trying to sweep some garbage material, through the door here. I mean, we have, as far as for construction, well, it's kind of difficult to answer that because look, I'll give you an example. There's so many factors that can change. Based on your kitchen layout, are we able to accommodate that layout with prefabricated countertops? If so, there's a tremendous savings there in comparison to going with slabs. Why? Because with slabs, you're getting a full sheet. Well, that sheet then needs to get to a fabricator. That fabricator needs to fabricate. There's additional labor costs involved. Or with the floor coverings, am I offering you a vinyl product based on our meetings and what we've discussed? Are we going with a water-resistant laminated product, possibly as a 10 mil, 12 mil? Are we going engineered because you really want to get the warmth of a wood, right? And is that engineered product going to be a 3 mil, 4 mil, or 6? There's so many different factors. It would be difficult. I'd be lying to you to say mid-tier is going to fit in 450. But what I can tell you is, if we do sit down with you, we evaluate your project, we evaluate your footages, and we start kind of analyzing what finishes we're doing where. What are we doing in the shower enclosures? What are we doing with the vanities? What are we doing with the shower floors, bathroom floors? We can really help kind of, help you better understand that this is kind of what we're falling into from a price point. But ultimately, we're here just to represent and let you know that the program we're trying to put together with them is a very concierge consultative system, to be honest. We want to steer away from like a big box experience where you walk in and you kind of need to figure out what to buy. We want to really streamline it and kind of be very hands-on consultative with you. Almost like a interior designer without the, fees.
What I have seen them produce for 450, from my standpoint, and the demands that we've had on them, were absolutely stunning homes with stunning fixtures. So that part, but every person has a different view of stunning. I mean, if you were born, from a billionaire, that may not be stunning. You know what I mean? So that's why I really wanted everyone in our group to be honest, to be forthright, and to be straight, and not screw with anyone. And this is why some of them are really giving tough answers, because in the end, we're gonna give you a bid and then you'll know exactly what it would look like and what you would get. And then at that point, you could decide if that's the right price for you. I feel from what I've seen other people are gonna put together, it's gonna destroy everyone. But that's why I need you to come one-on-one. It's a one-on-one feeling. Unlike the Genesis, where it's like, okay, I'll take that. You can pick it out of a book, which is a great thing for some people. But we're trying to build custom craft special homes in Altadena to bring it back the way it looked, at a price that you can be extremely happy with.
they are putting together packages on what, like 1,000 square foot home, and let's say you have 400, let's say you got 500,000 for your insurance. They could show you what you can get for that amount. So it may not be square footage, but at least they could give you a price for 1,000 square feet. We can create this for you with using the materials on certain tiers. So you can get something for like 450,000, 500,000, and it goes up. So I know they're working on that packaging, so you can kind of get a full layout what that may cost.
I do want to say that I appreciate all this, because some of these custom built homes, or the homes that are set, they are beautiful, and but so far, actually one was close to the layout of my property, but otherwise most of them weren't, and you can't tweak them. There was one that from the Foothill catalog was kind of close to what I had, and because of the way my property is set up, my home has to be like an L-shaped. So none of these homes, except for one that was close, except they would have to knock off one bedroom, and that's not what they can do. You can't do that. So I know in my circumstance, it really will need to be more custom made for the way the layout of my property is. So I do appreciate this, and I hope, my questions, I hope they,
The beauty is the initial part that they can do will be for free. Like, so it's not like you gotta pay someone to find out you didn't like it. So that's why I made these guys do work first, so that the homeowner can get something and know this is for me, or this is absolutely for me, or how'd you get windows? Did I just call Rudin? There's 10,000 structures. Alta Design Works can't solve everyone's problems, but hopefully we can solve some of them, or just some of your problems. There's 6,500 homes just in Alta that we built, so we may be able to solve 100 or 200 of those problems. There's going to be 5,800 more problems. So hopefully we did a service for the 200 or 200 homes, to say that the group of different builders can build.
Sure.
Your company does the exterior, you said, like the concrete or plaster, correct?
So we're manufacturers and distributors. We also do renewable energy. So our company's kind of unique. We have a capital company, and then there's six different subsidiaries. So we do disaster relief, we do installation of renewable energy, we do manufacturing, and we also do distribution. So we came together with some of our other financing partners to try to help out in the beginning, but we did not want to compete with SBA. Just want to be clear on that. We were at 1 to 4%. You guys were better, yeah. So, but we're trying to just give you guys opportunities, like the 30% hybrid loan. It would cover MSI. It would cover the water filtration. It would cover the solar. It would cover everything, because it's 125% LTV, which means it goes above and beyond as long as you're credit worthy. Let's say that your DTI, or debt to income, with your credit utilization is over 30%. That affects your FICO score. I'm not here for an education on
I don't want to
credit.
shut you up, but I think her question is so he's not a contractor or builder.
Well, I am a contractor builder, but that's not my position.
Because
here
my
today.
question was about finishes.
Yeah.
On the outside.
So all we do is, so we're gonna provide the materials for the exterior, the roof, the interior, the exterior of the walls itself. You'll talk to him about the interiors and all that good stuff. We have builders, but if you have your own builders, we're the manufacturer first and foremost. So on a disaster relief team, we have guys in North Carolina and Florida still building. We can pull some of those guys over if we need them, but these guys already have relationships with guys that are here locally that they can help you guys out with.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, we're not here to try to dominate the market. We're just here to provide you guys with a cost-effective approach. That's it.
Okay, my question was more about
The outside.
the outside.
And you can do stucco, you could do you could do, we do insulation. You'll see in some of the packets, we bought the rights to manufacture some NASA products. So this just makes your home energy efficient and fire resistant. MLI was invented by NASA for the space shuttle that goes around. So it's 99, it blocks 97% of the radiant heat. So even though you have a EcoCrete product, you put this in your attic and it blocks 97% of the heat, so it makes your home energy efficient. All of our products, I didn't go into the whole product line because I didn't think it was necessary. I just wanted to give you guys some handouts so that way you guys can take it. And then you have this beautiful lady's phone number, so please call her because she'll handle everything.
Yes.
She's the agent in this territory. So we do all across the United States. We actually are doing a project in Ghana, 5,400 homes with this same product. We have something out in DR and Dominican Republic we're doing, and that's another 1,200 homes. So it's just,
these
it's all about.
products are amazing.
Yeah.
They really are.
And
Okay,
today's
thank-
topic was building smart. I wanted to
We
get
offer so
as much
much.
information to be introduced, different concept and ideas. There's no one size fits all, but
No.
you know, maybe this NASA stuff is a one size fits all for all of us. If it's just insulation, you know,
Yeah.
things of that nature.
Right.
I'm learning also, you know, and I'm gonna keep learning. And as I learn, when you come over to the co-op and say, hey guys, I got something new. I got a better price. Or I got a better deal. I
Yeah.
struck something new.
We'd like to work with the contractors and show them all
Right.
this because it's a lot
Yeah.
cheaper if it all goes in when they're building the.
And not to mention, you get back in your homes quicker. So with this product for the exterior, they can get to their job a lot quicker. And I've used MSI, they got great materials, great products. And if they're talking about the price points that you're talking about, that's gonna be a good fit. But instead of having 9 different inspections for all these different, and trust me, I'm a contractor in San Diego. I know California is one of the most stringent states. I had a qualifier partner, a licensed civil engineering. So we did residential and commercial. I did a big mid-rise behind Mercy Hospital. We did a downtown historical hotel underground work. So we had to get noise permits. We had to get nighttime permits to work at night. California has some of the most stringent rules for pulling permits, and it takes a very, very long time. The reason why we love this product, it avoids all of those inspections, and you can literally we have a timestamp video, 1,500 square feet. We were able to put it up in 72 hours. The slab took longer to pour to do all the tee-ups than building the house itself. So now these guys can get to work and putting all the finishes in. And when I said finishes, what I meant to say when I said 200, I think the young lady in the back said, why did you say 200? That's the windows and the doors and all that, not including the finishes, and that's why he's at 450. So I didn't want all the numbers to be all over the place. I didn't address that earlier when I spoke, so I wanted to clarify that. But when I say finishes, I mean like the shingle type, whether it's concrete, Monterey curb, or whether it's asphalt shingle. The windows, whether it's Lacatina doors in Oregon that Freddy was talking about earlier, or whether it's Anderson Milgard or whatever, or the name that he's going to put together. So that's what I mean by finishes. Hard, rough in finishes. There's rough in finishes, and then there's finishes, and then there's fine finishes for the inside. So there's different phases of a house, as you know. But with all of us combined and putting all of our efforts together, literally, when you're talking about a custom-built home, I've seen them in this area, and I'm a contractor, or have been a contractor in this area. That's not why I'm here tonight. But yeah, like the gentleman in the back was saying, $750 to $1,250 a square foot, depending on what neighborhood you're in. If you're, I was in Chatsworth, and I worked on YG's house. After the big rain, his retaining wall fell over. This other contractor was charging him $385,000. I did it for $125,000, and he was happier. His neighbor is Smokey Robinson, by the way, and he wanted to make sure the wall was up before Smokey Robinson got back into town. He just didn't want to get yelled at by Smokey Robinson. So the only reason I got the job is because I answered the phone at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I said, you better have a shot of whiskey for me or something to call me at 3 o'clock in the morning. And the guy says, can you be here at 5? And I said, how are you paying cash? And I said, I'll be there at 4:30. But anyway, at the end of the day, you know, it's all about supply and demand and what you can do for your people. So we're just trying to come together as the coalition and as the Alta Works to go ahead and help you guys out to get back in your houses quicker, more efficient, and more cost effective. Yes.
EcoCrete, using the same product as GigaCrete?
No, you can Google, you won't find anything on EcoCrete. This is actually a federally funded product. So it's federal dollars that they raise to do affordable housing. SBA knows all about this product, except we took the base model and added additional finishes like stucco, like plaster of Paris, like all the fine high-end finishes.
So it doesn't look like a FEMA DOMA undesirable house.
Right.
They took a government product that they used for disaster and low income, and they structured a licensing deal where they can make it more beautiful, more pleasant, look like a home.
And it can fit in Palisades even. I mean, look, if you're doing,
frame, right?
I'm sorry?
It's a steel frame,
No. It meets steel. It's concrete. It's low carbon footprint concrete, but it's ASTM certified for residential and commercial. So if you're a business owner, if you go into our ASTM certifications, especially here in California, it talks about the IBC steel rating. So this one's only commercial. That's in your packet. I didn't want to spend like 20, 30 minutes because I have 15 minutes or Freddy's going to choke me afterwards. So I can talk all night. But if you look in the packet, it'll basically fit all of your steel certifications, your ASTMs, makes all your certifications, whether it's residential, commercial, whatever the case may be. You have all that information in here that you can view, and then afterwards, this young lady right here, this is her area. I'm down in San Diego, so you can reach out to her. She'll answer all your questions for you. She'll definitely help you guys out.
All right. So here's your homework. We'll be back next week with contractors. Okay, so we'll be doing all contractors. Then we're gonna take 2 weeks off. Then we're gonna relaunch a new series back at the new location. Okay, we'll have new topics and new ideas. And if you guys have topics you want covered, or people you want to see, or issues you want resolved, get those over to me. We'll do that.